Kasi.
Kudra.
That one. Kudra. Try to give them such that they can get stories to tell when they get grandchildren. We want to thank the organizers, but we also thank God for those who have given in their life for baptism tomorrow. We thank God for that. The theme of the camp meeting says that I'll go about my Father's business while strengthening spiritual and financial status of the family. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Lord sends us to his gardens, into his ministry, there comes a moment of harvesting, a time that even though you have failed to get anyone being converted, you yourself, when you are going,
the greatest work when you have failed in all spheres of service is to have you yourself, having preached yourself, and you are heaven bound.
You are done with the mission.
Luke
chapter 23 and this 42nd verse. The Bible begins with the word in verse 41 or verse 39. The Bible begins with these two thieves, robbers, who were up hanging on the cross. And the one in their midst was Jesus Christ. And one of these robbers turned and looked at Jesus. And he told him, "Sir, if you are the real Christ, save yourself. After saving yourself, you also come and save us." The one thing I like about this man, redeem yourself off the cross, then come and redeem us too. But there was another robber, a murderer, who was by the other side, on the right hand side, when the first robber on the left hand side, this second one is on the right hand side. But he told Jesus, "Dear sir, he does not know you. He doesn't know what brought you. What brought you not to steal yourself off the cross, but what brought you not to go off the cross. What brought you not to escape from the cross, but what brought you is to die on this cross. But I have this prayer, that after you are dead and that you are buried and you are risen and go back to heaven, and you will bring back your kingdom. Dear Jesus, I pray thee. I pray. Remember me, Lord. Remember me. When you bring back your kingdom, remember me. These men, most of you don't know their history. These were two robbers who had gone beyond the level of being thieves, mere thieves.
And they had become criminals.
They had been wrapped with
not just criminals,
buziba misango,
but hardcore criminals.
naye bali abazibu ddala
Abanyumiza Bayibuli naye ng'awamba n'abakazi.
But he even used to
rape women. Rape.
He used to rape women.
Gestas teyakoma ku ekyo.
He did not stop on that.
Baali bamusiba emirundi n'emirundi era ng'asonyiyiddwa emirundi n'emirundi.
And he had been forgiven several times.
Era obulamu bwe
and his life,
yabunyumirwa ng'ali mu kkomera.
He enjoyed it when he was put in jail.
Kubanga bwe yafulumanga,
because every time he moved out,
wabweru nga baagala kumwokya,
when outside the prison gates, people wanted to burn him. When they want to kill him. Because every time he moved out of the evil acts he had done, and then he would get a new act such that he can be taken back. Because in the cell, that is where he would get relief. Now,
a book called Talmud.
That book called Talmud.
The Mishnah.
And also that book called the Mishnah explains that this man, he was a governor in prison, and in the prison he was a leader, and when he reached in the cells, he was a big boss, and he is the one who trains those in the prison cells who are yet to get out. When they have served their sentence, they go and do more evil acts such that they come back, such that he can rule them again. On the right hand side, there is this man called Dismas. Dismas was a son to a priest. And he was born a Jew, and in his father's house they could read the morning watch, they read the lesson, they worshiped during midday, in the 9th hour they worship and they prayed, in the deep in the night they prayed. Dismas used to partake of the meat that was brought from the temple, that was being brought by people who had come to offer sacrifice. And when the priest burnt the offering, he used to bring it home, and then children enjoyed.
In simple terms, Dismas enjoyed tithe as he grew up. He enjoyed the space of the church.
Praying and fasting.
Dismas
used to attend.
And
again Dismas was one of the youths who grew up while they are baptizing themselves. When he finds a girl in the way, he goes back home. He dips himself 7 times because he has found a curse. Dismas, he was a youth when the law of the
whole Torah,
amateeka gonna,
ebitabo ebitaano byonna ebya Musa,
all the 5 books of Moses were all recorded on Dismas's head. When you question him, how does Leviticus 5:8 say? He would cite it out. When you ask him, what does Genesis 5:10 say? Dismas would recite it. When you question him about Deuteronomy 16:14, Dismas would recite. Dismas, he used to lift the sword of his father that he used while he was sacrificing the lamb, and he used to work with his father. Oh, these lever it worked. Dismas. And he combined with Dismas. As he was growing up at the youth stage, they made a pair. Now Dismas, he started robbing. But this kind of theft and the style of twisting things, he had copied from the father, because his father was one of the priests that Jesus struck when he went into the temple, and he found that the temple of the Lord that is meant for worship has been turned into a den of thieves. Now these ladies had instituted a system that if you were to sacrifice a lamb, don't come with your lamb. Even though you have the lamb at home, don't come. They sell to you what they have here. Now a lamb of 100,000, at the temple you would buy it at 500,000. And yet the 500,000, the one that you have brought to pay for the lamb, you have to exchange into their currency. Then you use 700,000 to get 500,000, such that you can buy their lamb that is of 100,000. Do you understand what we are saying? But there are 500,000 that you have been given is the same amount that you came with. You haven't got it. Someone asks you for South Sudanese pound. Please, give me 10,000 SSP. Then I exchange for you 5,000 pounds. Now what difference has he made? If he was trying to change to US dollars, now these priests had reached that level of for you to you would bring 700,000 of Uganda, the same of Ugandan shilling. Then he would exchange it with 400,000 of Uganda. That is what was transpiring in the temple.
Exchanging currencies.
And sacrificing lambs. And at this time, forgiveness was such expensive. Now Dismas copied, and then he realized that the father was earning slowly. Those that he steals from the temple take longer. Then Dismas combined with Gestas, they went into Samaria. They went into Galilee. And they broke into everyone's house. And the rabbis explained that sometimes Dismas used to put on his father's cloak of being a priest. He moved on the way when everyone is honoring him. The priest is going. The priest is bypassing. The priest is going. The priest is bypassing. Instead, he has covered himself with the priestly robe such that he is not clearly identified. You would only see that the priest has hijacked your bag. You would only find that the priest has grabbed off your horse. You would only see that the priest has taken your cow. Do you understand what we are saying? You would only see, and by the time you come to yourself, that this one is not the priest, rather it is Dismas himself. And the whole of Rome hated Dismas. And the whole of Judea hated Dismas. plus Gestas.
Court netuula.
And then a court was sat.
Nesala omusango.
And there was a ruling made.
Negamba these two guys.
Nebagamba bano abantu ababiri.
These two criminals.
Bano abakozi b'ebikolobero
ababiri. Can no longer fit in the community.
Tebakyasobola kubeera nawamu naffe.
N'abasalira omusango.
And they were sentenced
gwakugenda ku kalabba.
To be hanged.
Shikalaba bulabba.
Not just being hanged.
Naye nga kakumusalaba.
But on the cross.
Omusalaba.
But the cross.
Ke kalabba akasembayo.
Is the highest level of hanging.
Kebateekako omuntu.
That was placed. That man would be placed.
Ddala.
Such that he can be left.
To be totally humiliated.
Aswazibwe amalibwe
family ye yonna.
All his family.
Ekitegeere.
That can come to know
omwana waabwe
that their child,
ensi yonna emuvuddemu,
the whole world
ensi yonna emwegaanye,
does not like him.
Gestas abeera ku musalaba.
Now as Gestas is at the cross,
ng'erudde eriyo munywanyi we,
when the other side is his friend,
Dismas,
who is called Dismas,
naye nga wakati mu bo,
but in their midst
there is an obstruction.
waliwo ekikugira.
I love this obstruction.
Njagala nnyo n'akugira wakati.
Between Gestas
wakati wa Gestas
and Dismas,
ne Dismas,
there was an obstruction.
waliwo ekibakugira.
There was another cross.
waliwo omusalaba omulala.
Another cross.
Omusalaba omulala.
Upon which there was another man called Jesus Christ. Gestas is on this side. And Dismas is on this side. Once Dismas wanted to see Gestas, Jesus was in between. For Dismas to see Gestas through Jesus Christ. Oh, you haven't understood now. Dismas was this side. But between the two of them, there was Jesus. That once this man Gestas, if he wants to see Dismas, he has to see Dismas through Jesus Christ. He does not turn his eyes. He has no opportunity to bend his head and see his colleague. But the only way to see his colleague is to see. And when this man wanted to see his colleague, he missed a point. And he said, Jesus, first go away from the cross. First go off the cross. I want to see my brother. Go and serve yourself first. Leave the cross. And I can Jesus. Now I can see through you that you have no sin. People don't see us as Dismas. Dismas saw his colleague through Jesus Christ. When you see church members through Jesus Christ, you just see the blood of Jesus that has covered them. When you see Gestas, when you see Gestas through the lenses of Jesus Christ, this woman who is cohabiting, this woman who is committing adultery, this man with the two wives, when you see this man through Jesus Christ, you see the blood of Jesus. Busy cleansing this man, busy purifying this man to be a true child of God. Dismas looked at Jesus. He remembered the days when he used to sing. Dismas remembered the recitals. No, the recitals.
Okay. The recites that they made
because
in the
he was
scripture.
The son of a priest. He remembered on the cross when they could sit at home. He remembered on the cross when they could sit at home on a Sabbath day, and they go to the synagogues. He remembered the days when they woke up on the 9th hour to pray for the nation of Israel. He remembered the days of the Feast of the Tabernacle. He remembered the days when he could camp with his father during the Feast of the Tabernacle. He remembered the days when he could be with his father when they are in the 7th year, the 7th Sabbath. Biblical historians love to tell us that Dismas was worse enough that even in the 7th month, a sabbatical month, even on a sabbatical year, still Dismas would go and kill and steal. But when he was on the cross, he remembered those days, pure good days, when he used to observe the Sabbath. He remembered the day when he was taken for circumcision. He remembered the days when he could stand in a synagogue and he could be introduced. We are blessed today because we have worshipped with the young man Dismas, the son of our priest, and the congregation would say hallelujah. He remembered the days when he used to wait for the Messiah. Let's establish our kingdom. When Dismas was on the cross, he remembered the kingdom, and he saw that the very man who brings the kingdom is on the cross. He utilized the opportunity of the man on the cross to see the kingdom, and he said, Jesus, will you remember me when you return in your kingdom? Remember me. Remember me, Lord. You know, my father was talking about the kingdom in those days. And he used to say the Messiah is coming. And we've been waiting for the Messiah. But when I wanted to see my friend Gestas, I looked through you. No, I looked through you. And when I looked through you, I saw the kingdom. I saw the kingdom. Jesus, yes, don't do a mistake. I know you have many problems right now. You are burdened by the sins of this world. But I want your memory to be sharp. I don't want you to forget that amnesia thing is not this today's business. I want you to remember me. Look at me, Jesus. Critically, I am Dismas. When you go there, and angels begin to welcome you, and the trumpets are sounding, don't get excited, Jesus. You may forget us. Remember me. When you come in your kingdom, Dismas got an opportunity to die. To die when Jesus is beside him. Dismas got a privilege to breathe his last when Jesus is just beside him.
ng'ali ku sayidi ye. Gestas
got a chance
yafuna omukisa
as the world planned to end his life.
Nga engeri gye yateekateeka okukomekereza obulamu bwe.
As the world be prepared to end his life.
Engeri gy'ateekateeka okukomya obulamu bwe.
Ng'ensi eteekateeka okufundikira obulamu bwa Gestas.
As the world prepares to end Gestas' life,
yafuna omukisa.
He was blessed
okussa omukka gw'enkomerero.
To breathe his last.
Nga Yesu amuli ku mukono gwa ddyo.
When Jesus is by his right hand side.
Kubanga ye yali ku gwa kkono.
Because he was on the left hand side.
Nga Yesu amuli ku gwa ddyo.
When Jesus was on his right hand side.
Njayaana.
I long.
Nsaba Katonda.
I pray to God.
Neegayirira ekisa kye.
I plead to his mercy.
Bw'anaaba takomyewo nga ndi mulamu.
That if he does not come back while I'm still alive.
Ng'akaseera k'okufa kwange katuuse.
When my moment of dying has come.
Nsaba Katonda.
I pray to God.
Nange okussa ogw'enkomerero.
That when
he is beside me, he can get me by my shoulders and tap on my ribs and stretches my one feet and he walks with me. When he is just beside me, even when I am sick, I can share his smile. I can share his goodness. When he is beside me, I can traverse poison. When he is beside me, I can traverse upon the venom of this world. When he is beside me, even when I am bleeding, even when I cannot walk, Ellen White says that he saw 2 footsteps and other 2 footsteps on the sand of the ocean. And these 4 footsteps began to walk. He didn't see these people walking, but he saw 4 footsteps stamping in the sand. And he saw the stamps of the 4 footsteps. Then as she began to walk, the 4 became 3. As she began to walk, the 3 became 2. Then she asked, how comes they were 4 but they came 3, and finally they are 2? And she was told, when they were 4, you were walking with Jesus here. The 2 footsteps belong to Jesus. The 2 footsteps belong to you. Where you see the 3, the 2 belong to Jesus. Your one leg was stabbed. It was bleeding. It was too hot. It was damaged. It was injured. It was broken. And this remaining one was still okay and strong. And you placed this injured one on the feet of Jesus. So they became 3. Then she asked, how come now that they are 2? And she was told, 2 do not belong to you. Because this remaining one, which was strong, which was healthy, was also bruised by the serpents of the desert. For this world to give you money. Who are you? For this world to make you rich. Who are you? For this world to make you popular. Who are you? For this world to make you powerful. Who are you? To have dominion in this world. There's nothing you are. You are with Jesus. It is the grace of Jesus
kyekisa kya Yesu
that is just sufficient.
ekyo ekikumaze.
It is Jesus' grace
Ekisa kya Yesu
that's just sufficient.
ekyo ekikumaze.
Let me tell you, women,
Kambategeeze bakyala,
you are not the most beautiful woman in this world.
si gwe akyasinze okubeera omulungi
You
mu
are
nsi.
one of the ugly ones.
Gwomu ku bannakibijjigiri.
Never you tempted, ever should be.
Tokemebwa n'olunaku n'olumu.
That because my husband loves me,
Olw'okubanga musajja wange
it's because I
anjagala,
am beautiful.
kubanga ndi mulungi.
Ensi erina abaana.
The world has beautiful ladies.
Ng'omutunuulira oti
When you just look at this lady,
ng'alinga bo nga yiikayiika,
when is like real yogurt,
ng'atiribiita butiribiisi,
just they are moving.
naye nga gw'otambula okunkumuka.
But when you, as you walk as if you are even dropping.
Olowooza
You think
nti oli mulungi nnyo,
that you are so beautiful.
kyekyo lwaki omwami waakwagala.
That is why your husband loves you.
Olimba.
You are lying.
Ensi erina abaana.
The world has beautiful
nga ne
girls.
bw'oba okutta akagaati mu kusembera,
That even if you have gotten the Holy Communion bread,
okata n'osooka weetegereza
you
omwana.
drop it and first look clearly to this girl.
Osaaga.
You're joking.
Ensi erina abantu
The world has people.
ng'omutunuulira
When you look at this person
n'owulira ng'okkuse satisfied
and you get satisfied
nga tebajja kukuwa mmere,
when you don't need food. That's it.
ng'okkuse.
When you are satisfied. Marianne, Shaban.
Ensi erina abaana.
The world has girls and children.
Omusanga alinya bbaasi agenda Mbarara,
You find her or him taking a bus to Mbarara,
naye ng'ate gwe wadde olinya bbaasi kujja Sudan,
and yet you were taking a bus to come to Sudan.
n'osooka olinya egenda Mbarara.
You first then bought those buses going to Mbarara,
Waakiri otule kumpi naye.
at least for you to sit next to her.
Waakiri
Yes, at least.
n'ekutuusa Mbarara,
You go to Mbarara,
n'oddamu n'olinya ekuzza e Kampala,
then you board one which brings you back to
n'olinya
Kampala,
ekuleeta e Sudan.
then you board that one which brings you to South
Ensi
Sudan.
erina abalenzi
The world has boys
b'otunulako
that you
bw'oti.
just look at like this.
Lirenzi liri straight,
The boy is straight.
teryakomba ku kibi nga balizaala.
Never tasted evil while he was being produced.
Siini.
Sin.
Kibi tekyamusembera nga bamusindika.
The sin didn't get close to him while he was being
Bino
produced.
Dawudi by'awandiika.
These stories of David that he writes,
Mu kibi mwe twazaalibwa.
that we were born in sin.
Ng'ono omwana mulenzi bwe yali azaalibwa.
No, this boy when he was being produced,
Ekibi tekyamukombako.
sin never got closer to him.
Akusembera busemberezi bw'ati.
He just comes closer to you
N'owulira
and
ng'ofriizinga.
you feel you get frozen.
N'ogamba nti wasinga alimbuzaako.
And then you just, how I wish he just
Oba
greets
singa
me.
alinkwatako mu ngalo.
How I wish he just shakes my
Oba
hand.
singa alimbuzaako.
How I wish he just greets me.
Ye ne limala aliŋŋamba.
How I wish he tells me.
Sizaako kigere.
I don't even do
Kaakati mmwe
anything.
basajja mmwe.
Now you men,
Temulowooza nti abakazi abo bali mu bufumbo.
don't think that those women in marriage,
Kubanga mmwe ba head boy b'abasajja.
that you are the head boys of all men.
Nedda ssebo.
No, it isn't that way.
Olina mwavu.
You are even poor.
Tolina sente.
You don't have money.
Tulina abantu abalina essente.
We have people who have money.
Naye
But
ekisa kya Katonda,
the grace of God,
okwagala kwa Katonda,
the love of God. Oh.
ekisa kya Katonda
God's mercy
kibikka ku mukazi ono,
covers this woman,
kibikka ku musajja ono.
covers this man.
Waliwo ekintu ekitawanya obwongo.
There's something that bothers my understanding.
Buli lwe nkyongerako,
Every time I talk about it,
mukyala musumba nkaayanya
now Mrs. Pastor argues with me.
aŋŋamba ogyolekerawo okwogera ekigambo ekyo.
And then she tells me, stop saying that word.
Abantu kibamalamu amaanyi.
It discourages people.
Naye tezimanyi lwaki kibeera yakikomawo era
But I
kikomawo.
really don't know why it always comes back, always and
Kubanga
always. Often.
kitawaanya ebirowoozo byange.
But it disturbs my mind. Now let me speak it with her. I'm not even about you. There is something that bothers me. They are the couples that are wed.
Besides Jesus. That's enough. You don't need to worry. You don't need to cry. Dear young girl. She's here.
Who no one?
She has suffered with me. My dear young girl. Make sure when you sleep in your room, you are besides Jesus. In one of my books, I wrote and I said, we have guardian angels.
The book is in Luganda.
It is now out of stock. When I get time, I will print again. But I wrote and said, all of us have guardian angels. And they protect us in shifts. Those for day and those in the night. Those for the day, they interswitch with those for the night shift. But those for the night shift, when they come to sleep on your bed, so that you can have a good sleep, they find another man on your bed. Yet they know you are single. So they get a mat. I wrote in an image reform. And they lay their mat down. The angels sleep on the floor. When you are sleeping with Zebediah, they go back to interswitch. They tell them, but the girl was already having protection. We slept poorly tonight. We slept on the floor. When the angels come to see the man, again you are alone. So you confuse the heavens. They report. When reports come back, again you are alone. You confuse the angels. I am praying for you. When you are in your room, sleep when Jesus is beside you. Just enough.
Dismas.
Now, if you have not understood anything, I want you to listen to this. Dismas tells Jesus, this word remember me. This word remember me. This word remember me is written in a tense. That Jesus, you remembered me and gave me your kingdom. Jesus, remember me now and you give me your kingdom. And Jesus, you will remember me and give me my kingdom. He is having an assurance that this is just an opportunity. His kingdom was there. His kingdom is here. And his kingdom is to come. So whether he does not come in the past, whether he doesn't come in the present, or whether the kingdom will come in the future, I am already in in the kingdom. I am already inside the kingdom. Because the kingdom was not by geography. The kingdom was not of buildings. This man here is the kingdom. And because I am close to the kingdom, I am next the kingdom. When you return in it, the word is in it. Now the Bible is very sweet. When you come with it, but when you come in it, when you come back, in you, I want to be. Oh, you are missing a point now. When you come back, Jesus, in you, I want to be. Because you are the kingdom. Where you are is the kingdom. Where you reign is the kingdom. When you descend, that's the kingdom. I want you, Lord, that when you return, I want to have died in you. Because in you is the kingdom. And he said, Lord, remember me, Father. Okay. First stand up. Because I don't want to speak this when you are dozing. Stretch a bit. Then you can sit down. Why I hate Jesus? You can sit down. The reason as to why I hate Jesus in this verse, he assured Dismas when he comes back, he will grant him the privilege of accessing the kingdom. But Jesus breathed his last before Dismas died.
He confuses me.
I
would have been with the hope as I die when Jesus. He had forgotten everything. When they had come to make a search on Jesus, he was pierced in his ribs. When they also wanted to break his legs, when Jesus was already dead. When they reached on Dismas, when he was still alive, with the pain, they broke Dismas's legs on the knees. Have you ever knocked down this knee cup? This knee cup. Have you ever hit it? You have never. Have you ever hit this elbow? This elbow? Do you even continue thinking? You don't understand what I'm talking about. Have you ever hit this bone accidentally? The elbow. The brain even pauses. This knee cup, I want to tell you, my grand, who produces my grand, who produces my mother, I saw him. But he died while he was very old, around 130 years. He slept off when it had just finished raining. And this knee cup turned off. I saw how this old man, not crying, but making noise, screaming. That's it. Dismas
ne bamumenya amagolo,
was broken. The legs were
ne
broken.
bamumenya evivi.
His knees were broken.
Nga gwabadde
The one where he was gaining strength from
yafudde dda.
is already dead.
Now listen.
Na wuliriza bulungi.
God has promised us his kingdom,
Katonda atusuubiza obwakabaka bwe.
but he has left.
Naye ye yagenda.
He left.
Yagenda.
Mukadde.
Elder.
Yesu yatusuubiza obwakabaka.
Jesus promised us a kingdom.
Naye yagenda dda atali
But
wano.
he went long time ago.
Wakati w'obwakabaka bwe okudda.
Now, in between his kingdom coming back,
Ensi tumenya amagulu.
the world has broken our legs.
Tuyita mu bulumi.
We are going through pain. Why their legs were broken?
Bafe mangu.
Such that they can die quickly.
Tebalina gabeeraawo nga balinda lw'onaafa.
They don't have that time to waste waiting for you to
Bafe
die.
mangu.
Such that you can die quickly.
Babagyeyo ku musalaba.
Such that they can be brought off the cross.
Ensi eyagala ofe mangu.
The world wants you to die quickly.
Ensi eyagala kukuttira ddala.
The world wants to kill you completely.
Ekyeva ekumenya.
That is why it breaks you.
Wakakola akaduuka ako.
You made your shop
Ne
retail shop.
bakamenya.
It was broken.
Wakalunda obukoko bwo.
You have just gone into portrait. They are all stolen.
Wakakola akasomero ko.
You have just started your school.
Baasa n'akulita n'omudidi gwonna.
The school bus runs off with all the money.
Wakateekawo akaduuka.
You have just put the retail
Abaana ne
shop
bakamenya.
and then it is broken into. You
Wakagula akapikipiki ko.
have just bought your
Kakole
motorcycle
bodaboda.
to work as a boda boda.
Omwana omuba ennyondo.
Then your worker
Ne
is hit
bakatwala.
and the motorcycle is
Ensi
stolen.
etumenya.
The world is breaking us.
Every day.
Buli lunaku. Era buli lunaku.
Naye nga gw'olina okukyukira.
But when the one you have to turn to
Omugambe nti ssebo bammenye.
and tell him that, please sir, I have been broken.
Yagenze
He
dda.
has already left.
Takyali wano naawe.
He is no longer here with you.
Naye amawulire amalungi gaaga.
But this is the good news.
Dismas
Dismas,
bwe baamumenya amagulu.
when his legs were broken,
N'agamba nti sifaayo.
he said, me, I don't care.
Nze sifaayo.
Me, I don't care.
Yakutusa agamba
He died while saying
nja kudda.
he will come back.
Yakutusa agamba
He died while saying,
Dismas
Dismas,
nkukakasa.
I assure you,
Leero
today,
si nkya
not tomorrow,
si ggulo.
not yesterday.
Nkukakasa.
I assure you,
Leero.
today,
Era endagaano eyo
and this
ne
agreement,
bagisaako omukono
this covenant was signed
olwo
on that very
nti
day,
Yesu bw'alidda
that when Jesus comes back,
alitwala Dismas
he will go with
mu
Dismas
bwakabaka bwe.
into the kingdom.
Endagaano eyo Kristo yagikola naffe.
He made that covenant with us.
Endagaano eyo Omwana wa Katonda Kristo yagikola naawe.
Dear child of God, he made that
Si
covenant with you.
nsonga ensinga bw'etumenya.
No matter whether the world
Ne
breaks us
tufuuka emmomboze ku nsi kuno.
and we become,
Our prayer should be one.
okusaba kwaffe kuli kumu.
That Jesus, when you return
Yesu bw'okomawo
in your kingdom,
mu bwakabaka bwo,
remember me, Lord.
zijjukira Mukama.
Remember me, Lord.
Zijjukira
When you
Mukama
return in your kingdom,
bw'okomawo mu bwakabaka
remember
bwo.
my husband.
Jjukira omwami
When you
wange
return in your kingdom,
bw'okomawo mu bwakabaka bwo.
remember my wife.
Jjukira mukyala
When you
wange
return in your kingdom,
bw'okomawo mu bwakabaka bwo.
remember my children.
Jjukira abaana
When
bange
you return in your kingdom,
bw'okomawo mu bwakabaka bwo.
remember my sisters.
Jjukira
When you return in your kingdom,
bw'okomawo mu
remember
bwakabaka
my
bwo.
brothers.
Jjukira baganda
When you
bange
return in your kingdom,
bw'okomawo mu bwakabaka
remember
bwo.
my father.
Jjukira kitange.
Remember my mother.
Jjukira mmange.
Remember my uncles.
Jjukira bakojjange.
Remember my cousins.
Jjukira
I
bakizibwe.
don't want to be in heaven alone.
Saagala kubeera mu
I
ggulu
don't want to
nzekka.
be in the kingdom alone.
Saagala kubeera mu bwakabaka
I want to
nzekka.
be with my mother
Njagala kubeera ne
who
mama
has
wange.
not yet accepted the truth.
Oyo atannaba kukkiriza mazima.
I want to be with my father
Njagala okubeera ne
who has
kitange.
not believed you yet.
Atannaba kukkiriza.
Jesus,
Yesu.
remember my sisters
Jjukira baganda
who have
bannyinaze.
not yet accepted you.
Abatannaba kukkiriza.
Jesus,
Yesu.
remember my wife
Jjukira mukyala
who
wange.
has not yet believed you.
Atannaba kukkiriza.
Jesus,
Yesu.
Remember my husband who is not yet baptized. Jesus. Remember my children who are drunkards now. Jesus. Remember my children, my dear girls who are just giving birth at home. Jesus. Remember me. Remember me when you return in your kingdom. And Jesus is kind to say, James, I assure you today, I append my signature that the contract I have with you is that when I return, I remember you. My duty is to also fill the contract. Jesus had no chance to breach the contract, because when he had just appended his signature, he died. So he had no opportunity to violate the agreement. But Dismas, who went through the pain of breaking his legs, had all the chances to breach the contract. I know how it feels to be in a house alone. I know.
When there isn't any single boy on church who can even say a word to you, but yet those of the world, when they are busy talking you, saying
that's good, man. Dear
elders of the church, you might not meditate upon this, but this girl is going through a very difficult time. There is no one conning her, but outside there in the world, they talk to her in the morning. Do you know what it means, someone to send you an early morning message?
How are you, my early morning bird?
And then he says, Olio tiagwe akazukukirwako kanga akayimba kumacha.
How was the nest in the night? I watched the stars with you in space. Do you know
how I have that kind of love? Do you know what it means to send you such a kind of a message? As you wake up in the morning, to load your data. When the WhatsApp makes that sound, and as it opens, when this man, this boy has said, kindly come close, I want to say this word once again. I love you from the earth until the moon and coming back.
But
then you look at the second message that is coming from a church youth. Dear sister, this part of, I'm confused about this part of Wednesday. It is in the lesson there. These ones are just craving for love. This boy is busy sending lesson messages, Bible lesson messages.
I know the pain of decision making you go through. In the week.
wakati mu week.
That's why I am very slow these days.
Chovola benaku zino ngenda mpola mpola.
When I see my girls
bwendaba abaana bange abobuwala
collapsing down,
nga bagwa,
I give them strong elders to support them.
Nange babeerako okubawanirira.
Even when we put them to church discipline,
newankubadde nga tubateeka ku discipline
I
y'ekkanisa,
make sure I find serious women
nkakasa nti nfunayo abakyala
who
ab'ensonga
can give them moral support,
abasobola okubawanirira abawala bano,
so that they can regain their focus
basobole okuddamu okutunula
and
obulungi
say, Lord,
era bagambe nti Mukama,
remember me
nzijukira
when you return
bw'okomawo
in your kingdom.
mu bwakabaka bwo.
Are you there
Gy'oli eyo
to say, Lord,
okugamba nti Mukama,
remember me
nzijukira
when you return
bw'okomawo
in your kingdom?
mu bwakabaka bwo.
Just raise up,
Nsaba oyimirire,
move closer,
otambule ogye maaso,
close up front here.
osembere eno mu
You
maaso,
can enjoy this pulpit space
osobola okukozesa n'ekifo kino
as we sing 227.
nga bwe tukozesa oluyimba 2:2.
Take my life
Twala obulamu bwange
and let it be
obukozese,
that when you return in your kingdom,
kyolwo bw'onaakomawo mu bwakabaka
my
bwo,
life will be in you.
obulamu bwange bunaabeera mu.
Take my feet,
Twala ebigere byange,
that when you return in your kingdom,
bw'onaakomawo mu bwakabaka
my
bwo,
feet shall be in your kingdom.
nti ebigere byange binaabeera mu
Take
bwakabaka
my
bwo.
lips,
Twala kamwa
that
kange,
when you return in your kingdom,
bw'onadda mu bwakabaka
my
bwo,
lips shall be with you.
nti akamwa kange
Take
binaabeera mu
that
bwakabaka
I love,
bwo. Twala ebyo bye njagala,
that when you return in your
olwo
kingdom,
bw'onadda mu bwakabaka
whatever
bwo,
I love is in your
buli
kingdom.
kyonna kye njagala nga kiri mu bwakabaka.
Take what I cherish,
Twala ekyo
that when you return, Father,
olwo nno bw'onaakomawo taata,
I will be with you
nja kubeera wamu naawe
in paradise.
mu kwesiima.
Shall we sing together?
Katuyimbire wamu.
227.
2:27.
Come, Christus, come.
Twalobulamu bwange obutukuze bwonna, twale emikono gyange gikozese by'oyagala, gikole by'oyagala.
want to give you an opportunity right now that you may inform him, Jesus, that Jesus remember me. If your mama is, I'm talking about those on the social media, I want to give you an opportunity that you may inform Jesus that remember me, Jesus. Rise up your hand and inform Jesus. Tell him to remember you. Pray. Inform him.
Yesu onzijukiranga, ojjukirenga abaana bange ng'otuuse, ojjukirenga ab'eŋŋanda zange ng'otuuse, ojjukire omwami wange ng'otuuse. Njagala okulaba ku bba wange nga ntuuse, njagala okulaba ku mukazi wange nga ntuuse. Naye newankubadde siina byombi naye nga nnyina abaana, ba abaana bange Mukama njagala okubalabako nga ntuuse. Naye kale byonna nga bigaanye, Yesu nze nzijukira. Akagombe k'enkomerero bwe kalivuga, Yesu nemu okuba abaneekweka mu mpoko z'amayinja, wabula abanaajaguza n'okusanyuka okwambuka kubeera eby'eggulu ku bwa Yesu Kristo omulokozi waffe. Mukama abeere nammwe.
Yesu yasuubiza abakkiriza tindi